Nigeria's power sector has over the years witnessed reforms that have changed the dynamics to power generation as well as distribution across the country. Now, one of such major reforms recorded is a switchover from the analog to digital metering. Now, that's for what people call the prepaid bit. And while this innovation has been greeted with commendations, there are obvious challenges hindering the outcome of the prepaid metering system in Nigeria. Now, some Nigerians have actually complained outrightly about assessing these meters. And ironically, a good number of those who actually acquired them still seem to be grappling with some form of challenge, ranging from outright fake brands to faulty meters with dire consequences. Most times, electrocution. Now, this is life-threatening, definitely, and no one wants that. There are factors that have actually pushed the federal government to place a ban on meters and transformers without the Nigerian Electricity Management Agency seal. Obviously, these issues need to be addressed, and that's why we're looking at this today on Nigeria Today. And we have experts who will be throwing more light on the do's and don'ts in acquiring meters and how consumers can actually prevent any form of electrocution and the attendant threats. You're watching Nigeria Today. My name is Blessing Abu. Welcome to the program. My guests will be introduced in a moment. In the studio to look at this topic, I'd like to welcome Engineer Peter. So he's the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, NEMSA. NEMSA stands for Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency. Welcome to the program, Engineer Weso.
Thank you.
Okay. Also joining him in the studio, I'd like to welcome Mr. Oyebode Fadikpe, who is the General Manager, Corporate Communications, Corporate Communication with the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company. Welcome to the program, Sir Fadikpe.
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers.
Okay. Now, let's get the reaction first. I'm sure this is a welcome development for NEMSA as well as the ban on meters and transformers without NEMSA seal. Engineer Eweso.
Thank you very much. I think it's very important that we talked about the quality and standardization and specification of equipment that are used in the power sector. And that is why we've come up to enlighten Nigerians that they should watch out for the type of meters that they are given. The purpose of revolutionizing the power sector in getting meters to consumers is to ensure that we eradicate this issue of crazy billing, estimated billing, and so the federal government has actually liberalized and ensured that the discos are aided through the meter asset provider to provide meters which hitherto are difficult in getting easily. And with the advent of this scheme, this regulation, it then means that it's going to be explosion of energy meters to be deployed to consumers. And as a result, the quality and the type of meters to be installed for consumers to give them the level of comfort they require then needed to be properly checked and sensitize the public on how to identify good quality meters, meters that have been certified fit, meters that meet requirements, because meter has requirements they need to meet in terms of specifications and standards in line with the metering code, which has set the specification and the benchmark for meters.
So what are the specifications? Perhaps we should just go into it straight away, because the essence of our discussing this is that people are actually getting the fake ones. Yeah. That means it doesn't meet your specification.
The specifications are to ensure that that meter that is being installed in that house has actually been tested and found to actually will work effectively within our environment. Not somebody has procured a meter from any part of the world that has not been properly acclimatized. You have a meter, for example, the temperature range should actually in Nigeria be not less than 55 degrees centigrade, but you have other part of the world where you have the temperature is less. I'm just using this as an example. But the basic thing that we must test to make sure that the accuracy level is right. Okay. And the only way we can know the accuracy level is right is to ensure that that particular meter will dispense power, and the person using the power is paying for what it has been dispensed to him, not paying for what is not supplied, or is using power which himself to either him or her is not even paying the utility. This meter we talked about is not just only for the consumers alone. It's equally can affect the utility company, because you can be consuming power and not.
Which is bringing me to Mr. Oyebode Fadipe now.
Yeah. So what we're now doing is to make sure that people are aware that before a meter is deployed in Nigeria, it must be properly tested and certified good fit, and the accuracy level is correct.
Okay.
And the only way you can know that is by seeing that the seal of NEMSA is on that meter.
Okay, we'll come back to how such seal will be recognized as well, because that's another thing people could actually go to bring on any seal looking like yours. So we'll get to find out what exactly it is. Okay, Mr. Fadipe, for you, how frustrating is this for your company in discharging utility for the people if we are encountering such problems of fake meters?
Let me look at it from this perspective. For us in the DISCO, and I speak not just for AEDC, but I'm sure I can also speak on behalf of other 10 DISCOs. What NEMSA has done and what they have been doing by way of their own statutory responsibility is a fantastic thing. And I tell you why. Customers today have this opinion in town that, oh, the meters are not standardized. Some of them will tell you that, why is my meter running so much? And all of those complaints, and that is because those who have supplied the meter have tampered with it and stuff like that. But thank God that the chief gatekeeper, they are the standard organization of the power sector. They ensure that any material that, and it's not just meter alone, I'm sure being my guy will be able to elaborate on that one later on. All materials must meet certain specifications that must be in conformity with our own local environment, being a tropical environment and stuff like that. So for us in the DISCO, that they have gone ahead to take this kind of position is fantastic for us. Once they see a NEMSA seal there, it means that they can no longer complain, because people say that we benefit from estimated billing, but that's not true, and I stand to be corrected. And I can say you are probably one of those who think that we are benefiting
because
from.
I was
But
going to say,
our
are
own
you
study,
truly not benefiting from
we are not. Our own study has shown that where you have low density of meter, there's a high loss in that area. And for us, the more money we are able to make, the better for us. So the coming of MAP and the decision to now put their own seal on it to show that this meter has passed through their own test is a fantastic thing for us. So the customer can no longer come back and say, I think we have done something unethical with this meter. For us, it's a fantastic thing, and we applaud them for it.
At least that would be for those who even have the meters in the first system, because there are still complaints about people.
Meter has become, there is no other time that meter has become so easy than now.
Really?
Yes,
okay.
Just go on our own website, and I'm sure most DISCOs also have the website that you log on to. I mean, there are just 4 stages: the stage of application, the stage of verification, the stage of payment, and then the stage of installation. Right now, one of the most beautiful things that is happening with metering is that it is now customer driven. What do I mean by that?
I'm asking.
Fantastic. Now, as at up to date, 30,000 customers in AEDC. I cannot speak about other DISCO in this respect, but in AEDC, at least 30,000 customers have applied. We have verified over 28,000, but guess what?
What?
Only 9,000 have paid, and then we have been able to meter about 7,800. So from the statistics, you can see that it's customer driven. If 30,000 have applied, we have verified 28,000, and only 9,000 has paid, which is just about 30%. Sorry, my mathematics may not be as fantastic anyway. But I think, I mean, that's about 1/3 of that figure. So who is at fault now? Who is? Because before now, customers were saying, give us the meters, we are ready. Give us. Now, I can show you a picture on my phone of meters in our store right now as I speak to you. If we can do a census, we'll go to our store and you see meters right now waiting for customers to receive them.
So why are the customers not receiving them?
Now it is their own fault. It's not us. We are ready to meter. They are the ones that are waiting to pay. Once they pay, trust me, we'll put the meters there.
Okay, now at least before we get to know what the seal looks like, what are the laid down procedure in acquiring these meters in the first system? Because I know you already said, okay, some actually have applied.
Yes.
For those who, well, they might not fall into the category of those who would not want to come and pay immediately.
Okay.
But there are some who still say, what is the procedure?
Very simple. Go on our website, www.abujaelectricity.com. There is the link, click on getting metered. Once you click on that, it will give you a dialog box. You see frequently asked questions. Take your time to read the frequently asked questions.
As if they can't read.
Now they can go to our office, which is a fantastic question. They can go to our office. Our customer care officers are there. They can speak most of the local languages around to attend to them and direct them. Those who cannot, those who are literate enough but may not have the time or have one challenge or the other, apart from going online, they can go to our map office at Wuse Zone 6, number 56 here on the street.
You pay for that advert.
Sorry, I was talking too much. But the point I'm trying to make is that all the things that are supposed to make the customer, get this meter more easily have been put in place. As a matter of fact, we are even going ahead to do some other things which we are perfecting right now.
Okay, Engineer Weston, now let's look at your role, of course, as the Chief Electrical Inspector. Now, regulating an industry or a sector such as this is a very huge one. And I know you have a lot to do in tackling this challenge of touts or people actually doing this business. How are you stepping in, at least beyond just, okay, recognizing the seal? What other measures are you using to...
Well, first and foremost, the seal is the first sign on the meter.
Okay, so what does this seal look like?
The seal is a small plastic foil with the inscription of NEMSA embedded in it. It is casted with it, and then we tied with a tiny steel wire onto the meter. That shows you this meter is actually been tested. But like, people may want to say that, how do you actually know the features?
Exactly.
The feature is that it's a small plastic, tiny, but you see NEMSA's name embedded in it on both sides, and it's tied to the meter.
And it's foolproof?
Yes, foolproof. Well, there's nothing that is foolproof, but one thing is this one, we'll be going a step further by ensuring that in a couple of months to this time, we're going to use USSD so that we can tie the meter with the serial number, that's our serial number with the serial number of the meter, okay, so that people, once you have the meter in your house, you can interrogate that USSD system, and then you find that this meter, is it correct, is it fake, whatever it is, and then...
So what happens to those who have purchased this otherwise fake meters? At least it's still within the sector that these ones were bought. So how do you...
what we are saying is this one. We are not categorizing any fake meter, but we are saying that once you don't see that seal, it shows you that that meter is not being tested and it could be fake.
It could be fake and faulty.
Yes. Yeah, but the important thing, which I want to say clearly here, is to say that, like I've always tried to clarify it, that even when the meter has been properly tested, which I stated yesterday during my press briefing, and the meter is accurate, the quality is right, there are other parameters that can make your meter to run. Okay. If you don't have good earthing system in your house, it's a big challenge.
All right, Engineer, we saw those issues as you have just put there, because I know most people, most homes and offices experience such. You take time to explain to us what could make meters run otherwise and how to actually help utilize that which we have to safeguard electricity in our homes. That will be after this break. Okay. We'll take a break now. you just tuned in, you're watching Nigeria Today, reaching you on NT News 24, and we're taking a look at metering and other attendant issues within the power sector. And already we looked at what it takes to have the specification for the metering code in Nigeria, and my guest is still seated. Okay, let's take a look at this aspect we'll talk about just before we went on the break. Excessive running meters for consumers who want to know what to do. And there are also other illegalities that in the power sector that you talked about, proper electrification and wiring of building structures. I'm sure you made mention of that at one or two interviews that with the press. But first, let's take a look at that, the running meter.
Thank you very much. Like I said, meter is a device to actually ensure proper energy accountability between the utility company and the consumer. So, but these meters, even when they've been tested and found to have meet all the specified requirements by the metering code, there are still other causes that can make this meter to malfunction. To actually, you call it excessive billing, crazy billing, or the meter is running fast. One of them is that if your wiring is done and you don't have what we call solid earthing system, what then happens is that should there be any fault in that house, it will create a virtual load. A virtual load means that when you're supposed to be using your electric motor, your cooker control unit, your ACs, which are supposed to be the one to make the meter to run, even when you switch them off, because of that fault, there is no way to discharge to ground. What then happens is that the meter sees it as a load, as if somebody is doing a service, so the meter will run. So that you can check against that by ensuring that it's properly earthed. That's why I find some houses, they will say, my fridge is shocking, my cooker is shocking. It means there is no proper earthing. That shock, that fault current will actually run the meter. That's one of them. Two, there could be a situation whereby you have done bad installation. That's what we call a changeover switch between your generator, standby supply, and the disco. If you have what we call a 3-pole instead of a 4-pole device, what happens is that the 3-pole has what we call a continuous neutral. So when you are running your generator and the power is not, and the utility company's power is off, that your meter will still run because the neutral is continuous, and when you say a closed circuit, then it will run.
So if it's a 4-pole? If
it's a 4-pole, then you have 4-pole means 1, 2, 3, 4. You have changed over all the blades, that is the switch contact, have moved away from the disco onto your generator. It won't read. Then when it moves again to the utility, what equally happens is to that your generator too, you can be running it as a motor because there's a bar feed, and that's why some people, their generator get damaged on time. Another thing that can actually make this thing to run very fast is if, for example, many people don't know how to install meters. Sometimes they go and install meter at the end of the load. So whether you are using generator, whether you are using this one, the meter is saying it. Where you're supposed to install your meter just at the space of the utility supply cables before you now go to the load of the changeover switch. So those are there. There are a lot of other things. Somebody will wire, you have a single phase supply, and you have a 3-phase meter. You wire it, you now use a single phase to do looping, that meter will malfunction. So
who is responsible to take a look at all this aspects of proper wiring or rewiring, as the case may be?
Well, it's a good question, and that is the area where the disco, the utility companies need to have what we call a system in place so that you don't just go and install a meter in a house. You must ensure all these points we have mentioned are properly checked by the meter installers, who will sign off on a form that I've checked it, the earthing is there, the earthing is correct, I've checked it, the phases are correct, I've checked it, if there's a changeover switch, everything is properly done.
Mr. Fadipa, anything in that offering? Do you have anything like that? Isn't that why we're running into trouble with some of the things that they're laying at your feet as complaints?
As honorary member of Nigerian Society of Engineers, I can't agree with him less. Anyway, that's just on a lighter mood. But frankly, what we try to do is to make sure that our installers also go through the training process to make sure that they are familiar with everything that the ND has said, so that customers also don't fall victim of these things. However, I think it's very important to say that we have the problem of those you call NEPA 2. Often and now, you have people inviting foreigners, in quotes, foreigners to the power sector, but not to the knowledge of electricity, to come and do one or two things for them when they have problems. And in the process, they contravene or tamper with the integrity of the meter or with the wiring system.
Who are these foreigners?
They are called NEPA 2. Now, let me describe them. Some of them are those who have also worked in the power sector. They have acquired knowledge as artisans and stuff like that. And then they are out of the system. They are still found to be useful. Some of them have also gone to technical schools. And then they have acquired the knowledge. They are seen as people they can call within the neighborhood. Oh,
electrician, Baba.
Exactly.
Baba somebody.
Baba somebody. Please come and quick. And that thing, I mean, that such a thing caused somebody to lose his life somewhere downtown some time ago, because he had been seen around the neighborhood as somebody who can fix your generator, do this for you and do that for you. And at the end of the day, he went on the line, and unfortunately, just like he said, that the generator can feed back to the line. The generator fed back to the line, and it caused a major caused a major damage. So we have infiltrators within, I mean, around the place, who also go around doing things that they are not supposed to do. And we have always said, keep off.
Overall, how do we checkmate this such that we have, like we already pointed out, credible utility serving the people, and also at least meeting up the government aspects of your own distribution company?
I think a major way of doing this is that DISCOs must step up their customer service disposition. For us in AEDC, that is one thing we sing as a song. Even the MD, our MD engineer, Ernest Mupwaya, is always on this. Any complaint you make on the social media is part of your official line of complaint.
Okay.
So then we have an automated customer care center which works 24/7. You can call those numbers. Unfortunately, advertising may not, doing advert may not allow me to do that. But you can call those numbers at any time and you'll be responded. So what I'm saying in effect is that as we become more alive to our responsibilities, we also frustrate the intrusion of those people that we have aptly described as NEPA 2. So it puts a lot of responsibility on us. Yes.
Okay, we must go now, Engineer Weso. Those who have purchased the meters already, you said you're already starting to look at how they will get those numbers. That's the NEMSA seal. Back
the NEMSA seal basically,
so going forward, how do you hope to?
You see, basically the NEMSA seal is a symbol, an attachment, a sign to show that this meter in your house is being tested and certified. Many Nigerians are already aware. In fact, some have complained we don't have a seal on the meter. And we've gone to check, and some of such meters have been found really not to have been tested by us.
So also we want to be going around now?
Yes.
You want to be going around any moment from now to do, at least for those who don't have such?
You know, basically, you see, we wait for you to complain.
Okay.
Because, like we said, we cannot be everywhere. But that's why we are giving that signs and symbols to people. If you don't find it, you tell us. And when you tell us, we move into it. There are some discos now that we have found such in their network where people have complained, and when we went there, it was not truly the meter were not tested. They have to move all the meters to be tested. But one point I'd like to probably mention here, you talked about NEMSA's signs and on transformers. Basically, what we are discussing about transformers, when we are talking about bad transformers in Nigeria, was about the vector group. The vector group is that we have some transformers that are not permitted by law, by external regulation in Nigeria. What is permitted for distribution transformer, that is the DISCO level, is any transformer there from 50 kVA to 2,500 must be DYN11. Then for the power transformer, it must be DY1.
In one sentence, just help us explain, when you somewhat get electrocution, how do you handle that, or what do you do, at least before it becomes so fatal?
Well, to me, the first thing we tell people is that you can prevent electrical accident and electrocution by following the safety rules and safety procedures at all times. Don't do because electricity is actually a very good servant, but it's a bad master. So it doesn't give you any opportunity to start to think. So all you need to do is to make sure that follow what the rule says. Like the discos, if their men are working on the line, First principle, don't work on live circuits. And you must use your hand gloves if you are working on live circuit. If you are climbing pool, whatever you want to do, you just have to follow the same, which we cannot.
Explain. Okay. Chief Electrical Inspector of the Federation and also MD CEO, nameset as Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency, Engineer Peter Ewosa. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
You.
I'd also like to appreciate Mr. Yebode Fadikwe, General Manager, Corporate Communication, Abuja Electricity Distribution Company.
Thank you very much.
It was a great time having you on board. And thank you for watching. We appreciate your time too. Monday is another time to join us for another edition of the program, Nigeria Today, and that will be 7:30 in the evening. Enjoy the rest of the day and have a great weekend. My name is Blessing Abo. Good evening.